think we're good. Can you check to see if there's sound? Okay, well, it should show up in a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, good. Okay. Let me, I don't know what happened with the sound. That's so annoying. Okay. I think we should be good now. Hope you guys find me because I had to adjust this a little bit. Okay. Let's see if I'm in frame. I want everybody to be able to see what I'm doing. And for those of you that are just now joining, okay, hopefully, oh, you know what? Let me, alrighty. Can you guys hear me okay now? I just want to make sure that that you guys can hear the audio, because I was chatting away, talking to myself, and no one could hear me. I don't know if that was the case during the entire video or not, but just in case it was, let's kind of get everybody caught up as to what I'm doing and where we're at with this. So I'm currently coloring my Nuvo embellishment mousse. I guess I want to put a lid on it so that it doesn't dry out, with the Lindy's powders that came in our November color kit. And what you want to do with these before you mix them in with your paste is you want to dissolve them in a little bit of water. And I do that ahead of time because the Lindy's has a bunch of little flecks of different colored pigment in them. And if you take that and you put it directly into the paste, you'll get these weird random like little patch of blue or green or whatever in them. So if you dissolve them entirely, then you'll get a better, your colors will mix better. So that's what I have done here. This one is the Trust the Process Red Flat Magical Powder from Lindy's. And then this one here is the Golden Sleigh Bells. This one doesn't have any shimmer to it, which isn't a big deal because the Nuvo embellishment mousse that we're using, it actually has a metallic shimmer to it. Looks a little opalescent. And then the Golden Sleigh Bells, this one actually has a beautiful shimmer to it. And in order to get a green for our stencil to make up our plaid, I'm going to mix a little bit of the shabby turbine teal that we included in our October kit. And this one actually is shimmery as well, but it has like a teal shimmer to it. So it's got teal mica in this one. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to clean off my little spatula guy because I don't want this to get muddy. The nice thing about these silicone tools is that they clean really easily. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I am going to take a dropper and I'm gonna pull some of this teal out so that we can get some color to that. And then I want it to turn a little greenish. So, but I also don't want my gold to get all messed up either. So I'm gonna grab some gold and we'll mix it together. And if it doesn't have enough blue in it, then we'll grab a little more blue. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix this together so that we have a green for our plaid. And because we have several layers that we do with this, I want to make sure that we've got enough, because in order to get the exact same color, if you have to remix it, that never really works quite right. So I'm going to take a brush actually, and because I want this to be a little darker than that. Okay, I'm gonna mix this with this brush. And the other thing too is that when you do your color blending with your blending brushes, this can tend to dry out a little bit. So having a little extra water in there with your brush isn't such a bad thing. Okay. I'm going to also grab a bunch of this gold and put it in there as well so we can kind of create that gold color. It's not wanting to leave my brush. Okay, so now let's mix this together. We'll use this actually. Okay, so we've got kind of a sagey green, which will be pretty, I think. So you just want to make sure that you get it mixed up really well. And obviously a paint palette isn't really the best. I would mostly do this on my mat, except I'm trying to kind of keep things in a smaller footprint so that I can have this be close up. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call that good. And I'm just gonna mix it together. And now we'll take all of this, set it aside. Put all of this aside. And now we're going to set up our stencils. And when you see how this works, it's so easy. And the stencils are, I'm gonna put this off to the side here. Actually, move that. Right. Okay. So I just want this off to the side just a little bit. So I'm going to take a sheet of cardstock, and these are the stencils that come in our color kit. So in the color kit, like I said before, you get the Nuvo embellishment mousse, you get 2 Lindy's magical powders, and then you also get the Nuvo jewel drops. And this is Hollyberry, and it's really pretty. These are, I'll show you at the end what these look like, but I did an unboxing video, and I showed what these look like when you actually apply them to your project, but I'm not going to do that here because I'll smear them and make a mess. Okay, so within the stencil pack, you get 6 different layering stencils, and these are really good size because it allows you to create a decent sized plaid. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. Ours might, this green that I mixed might be a little bit darker than the one here, but this kind of will show you what the embellishment mousse does. It just has this really pretty shimmer, so it gives kind of that satin look to it. And then the plaid that it creates is 8 by 8. So you've got a lot of space to work on. You know, if you do this and you want to create a layout on top of this. The other thing too is if you do you create your first layer and then you want it to extend to the outer edges, you can just line up the stencils so that they're matching up with a couple of the stripes and extend it out. So, but for our purposes today, we'll just do the single size. So each one of the stencils has a little, it has 4 little half moon shapes on it. And these are going to help you line everything up. And then in addition to that, the stencils also have a number engraved at the top. So this is stencil number 3. I'm going to put them in order here so that we know. This is stencil number 2. And to be honest, I didn't clean these as well as I should have immediately following using them. This is stencil number 1. And the numbers are just engraved here. This is 5. This is 4. And that is 6. Okay. And there's an example on the back of the packaging. So if you're wondering what color to do where, this gives you a breakdown of how to create the plaid using 3 different colors. So this is stencil number 1, and then stencil number 2, you do it in green. Stencil number 3 is pink. And then stencil number 4 is green. And so you can stop at any point. The other thing you can do with these is you can layer them differently. So you can create just a vertical stripe if you wanted to in a variety of different widths. You can have them run diagonal if you wanted to. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but this is just the basic idea. And then once you get used to using them, you can customize this and use them to create all kinds of different patterns. So anyway, stencil number 3, stencil number 4 is red, and stencil number 5 is pink. So you'll be able to see which color is added to each one of the steps. And as we start working on this, you'll be able to see. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I am going to make some room over here so that I can actually I have stuff piled everywhere. And it was all like organized in some way, shape, or form for something at some time, at some point, and that's not what I need right now. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put the stencils off to the side here. We're gonna start with stencil number 1, and I'm just gonna put this in the center of my page. One of the things that I want to do with it, just put my ruler. Okay, here's my T-square ruler. I'm going to use a T-square ruler so that I make sure that I get this lined up straight, because once you do that and you make your marks, everything will fall into place. But if you don't have this lined up properly to start with, then everything's going to be crooked. So I don't care necessarily if it's in the center or not, but I do want my lines to be straight. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a pencil, and you can actually do this if you wanted to. If you don't have a T-square ruler, you can do it with just a regular ruler and just measure, you know, an inch out, and then create another line that's 8 inches and 8 inches. So you're in for all intents and purposes, you're creating an 8-inch square. So you'll have a grid so that everything kind of goes down smoothly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just lightly taking my pencil and I'm marking these little half moon designs. And you only have to do this with your first stencil. Once you do it with the first one, then you have your marks and you just line everything up. Okay. And if you want to, you can use a piece of washi tape to hold your stencil in place. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to live on the wild side. I didn't do it with my first one, so I'm hoping that I just can hold this in place. And it's not a super intricate stencil, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking my blending brush and I'm putting it in the darker of the colors. And what you want to do is you want to put it down and kind of in a circular motion. You want to kind of work some of that pigment and texture paste into your brush. If you go directly from your paint palette and put your brush in there and then go directly to your stencil, you're going to have globs of texture paste, and you increase your chance for everything to bleed. So you don't want to do that. So I start in the center and in a circular motion. Very, very easy and not a lot of pressure. I just add the paste, and I just keep my hands on this so that I hold it in place so that nothing slips. And then that way you get just a really nice crisp line. A little bit more. So it takes a little bit of time, but the result is definitely worth it. And like I said, you could use this and create a candy cane stripe if you wanted to, you know. The key is with this stuff is that you just need to make sure that it dries before you move it and work over the top of your color again. And the nice thing is that when you put it on like this, it dries really quickly. One more. And when we peel this off, you're going to be amazed, shock and awe, and all that. I felt that move. Okay. All right. So this was the first one. My brushes were a little bit wet because I washed them. So that's why you're seeing some of this bleeding here. It's not because of what I did. It's because I chose to wash them ahead of time, which probably was not the smartest thing to do. Okay, so now, and I washed the stencils too, so they may have had a little bit of water on them. So now I'm going to take my next stencil, which is stencil number 2. I'll line it up with these marks, and then we'll get our green brush. I want to make sure, see, these are a little bit wetter than I want them to be, but that's all right. Okay, so we'll add some green. And you can make this, you know, as dark or as light as you want it. So we'll start here. And I'm just going to go really lightly. And you can tell I've got maybe a little bit more paste than I want, because you can see it. If you've got too much, you'll see it kind of like collect along the edge of your stencil. Okay. Oh, see, I probably should have put some washi tape down. But I'm embarrassed to tell you that I got rid of most of it because I've had it for so long. And if you don't use your washi tape, it just dries out and then you can't peel it. It just sticks to the next layer and then, okay. So if you want this absolutely nice and clean, recommend doing the washi tape thing or some type of, you can use a sticky mat also, which I have one of those. The sticky mats don't work great if you're working on a 12 by 12 though, because it will only hold your paper in place. It doesn't hold the stencil. So if you were to do this on like a smaller page, you could do that, but then you can't line it up properly because you won't have your little marks. So here we go. You just take it in a circular motion and not a lot of pressure. And that's really key, because if you use a ton of pressure, a couple of things might happen. You have a higher likelihood of your stencil moving or of you getting underneath the stencil. So you want to just keep your pressure nice and light. And the other thing too is if you use too much pressure, kind of go down these and make sure that if you use too much pressure on just your regular cardstock, what happens is you'll eat your cardstock up and you'll damage the surface of it. So if you're using watercolor paper or like some type of mixed media paper, it tends to be more durable, but just your average cardstock, scrapbooking cardstock, it doesn't like to be scrubbed. And once it gets a little bit wet, then you have, it becomes more delicate. So, okay, one more. Like I said, this does take a little bit of time, but the effort is definitely worth it. And this is just one of the ways that the Lindy's and the Nouveau embellishment mousse can be used. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. So I'm just gonna go down, whoops, see, did I mess it up? I did mess it up just a little bit, but that's all right. So just, all right. So if you have your tape, you're not going to have this issue. Do I have some tape someplace? That's a good question. Thinking I don't. Hey, Bob. Has his headphones on. Okay. So let's do stencil number 3. Stencil number 3. The other thing that you can use to hold stencils in place is there's a spray, and it's called Pixie Spray, and it's a temporary adhesive, and it gives that kind of adhesive like maybe your Cricut mats or something like that. And you can use that. And it'll hold your stencils in place as well. So if you don't want to go the washi tape route, you can definitely do it that way. Okay, I'm just gonna try and dry this off on my arm because I don't have enough hands to do all the things. Okay, so this one we're gonna take and we're gonna kind of work that color into the brush. Don't be surprised if my brush has a cat hair in it because I have a long-haired cat. Well, one of our cats is long-haired and his fur goes everywhere. Okay. So what we'll do here is we'll just start at the top. And this time I'm going to be extra careful, like I was the first time. It's hard to do this and talk. Okay, there's layer 1. Here's layer 2. So pretty. And honestly, you really can't, you don't get the full effect until this dries. But it's so pretty. If you've never, and Nouveau Mousse or embellishment mousse comes in a lot of different colors. But honestly, like most of my pastes, I like to have a white paste and then I just like to color it myself so that it matches what I'm creating, you know. And if you have like inks, or you could do this with ink, you could do it with mist, you could do it with watercolors even. The thing with watercolors is that you have to add so much water to get them dissolved. Although with the Lindy's you kind of do too, so. Okay, so hold this here. Oh, did it move? It must have moved. I don't know how it moved. Well. Oh well. You know what? Handmade is never perfect. And that is not what we strive for. So with layering stencils, you might want to use the washi tape. I just had really good luck the first time I did it. And it's probably because I wasn't talking and doing it at the same time. Okay. So there's the pink. Look how pretty this is. Okay, so then we looked at our page here. The next one we're going to do is going to be green. And that's going to be stencil number 4. And we'll apply green to it. And so we'll take it, we're going to line this up. The other thing that you'll notice when you're working on a cardstock that doesn't have gesso, as you start adding color to it, the paper kind of starts warping a little bit. So just putting that pressure to hold it in place and flatten everything out as you're. Okay, this time we're going to do it. We're going to get it all just right. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I just love mixed media stuff. Because it doesn't have to be perfect, but when I was younger, like even from like elementary school, I remember being in kindergarten, and when, you know, they would say, oh, we have art, I was always so excited. And it didn't matter what we were doing. I mean, we could have been doing paper mache or painting or, you know, whatever it was. I was always just happy as a clam when it came to doing art. And I took art all through high school, grade school, middle school, high school. And I was actually a fine arts major when I went into college. But that kind of took the joy out of it for me. So I didn't end up going that route. But it's funny, I have now kind of come full circle. So the things that I was interested in when I was really young, I'm now doing for my job. And the thing that makes me extra happy is to see people use the things that we create on their pages and projects. So it's fun to make pretty things. It's a lot of work to make pretty things, but Um, I think people appreciate them. And it's funny because oftentimes, I create, I have plans for things or, products or whatever. So as I'm designing them, I wish I had all the time in the world just to sit down and be online all day, every day, and just show everybody all of the millions of ideas that I have rolling around in my head. Unfortunately, that is not reality, sadly. Everything would come to a screeching halt if I got to do that all the time. I just need a fairy godmother that will do all the hard work behind the scenes. Okay. Make sure that this is colored. Now we'll lift this one up. So there's 4. See how pretty this is? Now, like I said, my brush was wet when we did the first layer with the red, which makes me sad, but that's all right. Okay, so then now we've got stencil number 5, and we'll line that up, and we'll look at our guide here, and this one is going to be red. So we're going to be putting in these red lines that are going across the page. So I'll put my green brush down. I'm going to line this up. And get some of this red color. And here we go. Okay. The nice thing when you've got the darker color is that it goes on so fast. You see exactly where you're So how many people are doing Christmas cards or holiday projects? Do you do Christmas cards? Do you do December daily albums? We've got a few design team members that are doing December daily albums. We've also got some great Christmas card ideas on both Instagram and YouTube, and on our blog as well. So if you haven't visited our blog for a while, definitely worth taking a peek at. Anya Lenchenko does beautiful, beautiful cards. And so there's a bunch of her cards that are on our blog. I just love seeing everything that everybody creates with these kits. Every time we come out with a new kit, it's like Christmas. Just makes me happy. Speaking of new kits, so we are currently working around the clock processing our Black Friday sale orders. So our December kit reveal is coming up on this coming Sunday. So if you're looking for that, kind of set a reminder on your phone. It's super cute. You're gonna love it. It's bright and it's cheery and it's just good. Okay. So there's the red one. And then now our last one is stencil number 6. And I'm looking for my numbers so that I make sure I line this up right. Okay, so here's stencil number 6. We're gonna lay this down, and this one is the pink. Okay, this one, you wanna be really careful with because it's a double stripe, and if you don't kind of hold it in place and kind of secure it as you work down the stripe, that little narrow middle line can kind of move around a bit. So to be honest with this one, I think it works best almost just to do a straight up and down motion. Because you can do a little bit of the circular motion, but I think that you don't want to risk having this move around a ton. So, and I made a lot more of this paste than I needed to, and I'll probably just take it. I've got like some little watercolor containers, and I'll probably put it in that and seal it up. And if I don't do that, I'll just take press and seal and put it over the top of this paint palette, and it'll be just fine. And then I can use it over and over again, and it won't dry out. So that way, if you want to, you know, make several different patterns, or if you're going to use this pattern on lots of different things and you want the colors to be consistent, then you don't have to do it all at one time. Press and seal, and then if you feel like it's really dry, you can add a little bit of water. But you don't want it to get soupy, because then it'll just bleed. Okay. So I'm curious, for those of you that are watching tonight, is Thursday night, is that a good night? I'm trying to figure out a night. Evenings work a little bit better for me. And on Sunday, that's usually my errand day, and I'm kind of running around. And so, or, you know, our kids are all grown, right? So they all have jobs. And so the only time to see them is during the weekend. So they make plans on the weekends. And if I'm always doing lives, then I don't get a chance to see them as much as I would like to. So I wanted to find a different day that would work for people. And so I thought having an evening might be kind of nice. And the other thing too, might be just nice to break things up a little bit, because on Wednesdays, didn't happen this week, but next week, Natalie will be live on our YouTube channel at lunchtime. So 11 a.m. Pacific time. For those of you that want to join and are able to join, if you can't ever make our live sessions, you can always catch them and watch the replay afterwards. So you just don't, the chat isn't available on the replays, but you can always leave questions. So look how cute that is. And so this is the one that I did today. I think that when this dries, it's gonna dry a little bit darker. But on this one, I think I had the red a little bit more saturated, which I think I prefer, because here it looks a little girly, maybe. I think I like the darker red. And in fact, I wonder, I know I could probably screw this up, but let's just see if I put this off to the side. Where's my little tool thing? This is my little tiny scooper, but so let's just add a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna add I'm gonna mix this with a paintbrush, a dryish paintbrush. So I'm gonna mix this up, see if we can get a darker color, because honestly, I really prefer a darker color. I didn't intend that to be so pink. Okay. So now, I'm actually gonna add a little bit more, because I really want this to be red. And it's my fault because I put too much texture paste with it. I was much more conservative with it when I did it earlier. Okay, so mix this up. And this is just a silicone desk mat. And when I first got it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's white. I can't mix anything on it. Everything comes off of it. It's the craziest thing. It doesn't get stained. Yeah, so, okay, so let's do that. And then we are going to take some of this. We won't take all of it. We'll take a chunk of it, and we're gonna put it over here. And we're gonna see, that's much better. That's more what I was looking for. I wanted that deep color. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this look like I want it to look. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to set that there. I'm going to grab stencil number, let's see, this one is 3, this one's 4, this one's 6. I think this one is 5, and I think that that's one of the red ones. I'm not mistaken, because we're gonna make this red. By golly. Okay. I'm just a little bit off. Okay, perfect. So now, oh yeah, that's much better. When I started this, I was like, yeah, I think that that's going to be too light. And to be honest, I think that the pink, the lighter pink, was darker than I wanted it to be. But you know what? You live and learn. And some of this is just practice. You know, you've got to experiment with your supplies so you know what works and what doesn't. I wonder if this is going to change the look of it, because the there's a certain bit of layering that happens as you add the different layers of color. So like the final layer was that light pink, so the light pink stripe went across everything. But I just couldn't live with that pink. What was supposed to be red, I didn't want it to be pink. Okay. I think this is going to make all the difference. It's going to take it from looking like it was a birthday plaid to holiday. Okay, see that? Oh, much better. The difference. Okay, so now we just need to do the first one. We'll line this one up. Stencil number 1. Okay. Am I on screen? My gosh, I've stayed in frame the whole time. That never happens. Okay. Make sure that everything's lined up right. But this, having this be red makes all the difference. Just made me a lot happier. You know, sometimes you have an idea of what you're doing in your head, and then it doesn't quite work out right. Most things I can like kind of, I'm like, whatever. But color stuff sometimes, that's the thing that will usually stop me, and then I'll get really nitpicky about things. Okay. Plus, I want you all to see this and go, oh my God, it's so cool. And pink on pink on pink was not what I was going for. But I really want to mess with this and do some different color combinations, because I think that, and mix the stencil and change the order and of things, and maybe create some unique looking patterns with it, because I think it has a lot of versatility. Okay. Just a little bit more. I was wondering why I wasn't running out of paste, because when I did it the first time, I was kind of spraying water to try and loosen up some of the dry paste. Okay, that's much better. See, look at that. Looks much more Christmassy, right? and festive. And so I switched this just a little bit, and my pink is just a little bit darker on this one than it was here. And I think once this dries, it'll get a little bit darker. The red, I think, will get a little bit darker. But and then I went with a green rather than this light minty, this light mint color. So, but you get, you know, different looks depending on the colors that you use. And so I really want to try and do like the red and the gold. I think that that'll be really pretty. So yeah, so this is how you make the plaid. And it's just, it takes a little bit of time, but it's super easy. Everything lines up, and it's like, if you line everything up and if you use a little bit of washi tape, you'll get all of your lines will be completely straight because of the way that the stencil was designed. So yeah, so I'm gonna walk over to my computer. Yay, I'm glad you like it, Jana. Oh, good, Jesse. I'm glad that the time works. You know, it's hard to find a time. It's hard to find a time that works for everybody. Yeah, I thought that the initial one was a little Eastery myself, but you know what? It shows you that the stencil can be used in a variety of different ways. And so I will mess with this a little bit more and off camera and see if I can come up with some other color combinations to share with you. And if you guys have this on hand, play with it and share your plaids in our Facebook group. I think it'd be fun to see what you're all creating with it. So, and if you haven't picked it up, I think that we still have a few available. So if you see this and you love it, head over to our website and place your order. If you are a Hip Kit Club subscriber, you can click the free shipping option and we will hold on to your kit and we'll ship it with your December kits when they ship. Unless you want it shipped separately, then don't choose the free shipping option, of course. But if you are a Hip Kit Club subscriber, use your discount code and it will save you 15% off on this kit or any other kits that you buy. It's a perk of being a subscriber, which is great. It adds up quite a bit. And yeah, so our December kits will be revealed this weekend on Sunday, probably be Sunday evening Pacific Standard Time, because I have a lot to do to get our images ready for that. But it's a beautiful kit, super fun, just happy. You're gonna love it. Does anybody have any questions for me? If you do, and I didn't answer them as I was chatting along, just go ahead and leave a question in the comments and I'll make sure that I answer them. I think this would even be pretty if the green was darker, but I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it be. Let it be. So you guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to start doing this every Thursday. Again, 5 o'clock in the evening. Can you hear my cat? He walks around with toys and screams. We've got these like little plastic springs that he carries around and he likes to play fetch with them. So yeah, my next thing, I'm trying to figure out how to keep him from climbing our Christmas tree this year. So saw somebody saying that you could get a cat tube, two cat tubes, and tie them together, and so that the little like top entry things are facing the outside, and then you put it under your Christmas tree, kind of around the trunk of it. And they don't like to walk on top of their cat tubes, and in order for them to climb the tree, they have to kind of get underneath it to where they can actually climb. So I bought cat tubes, and I'm going to try and keep my cat out of my tree this year because it makes me insane. Plus, you spend all that time decorating. You know, you don't need your little furry friends to go in and destroy all of your hard work. So, yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up, give my video a like. If you aren't subscribed to our channel, make sure you do that. And if you feel like your creative, scrappy paper crafting friends would enjoy what we do, you can share our channel with us. There's a little like arrow that veers off to the right that says share. You can copy the link and share our channel with your friends. Have them subscribe. And just one final thing, if you aren't a Hip Kit Club subscriber and you want to give our kits a try, head over to our website at hipkits.net and place your order and use promo code KHUTCH when you check out, and it will save you 10% on your purchase. So, yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys have had enjoyed yourself and have learned something fun and are inspired to give layered stenciling a try. I think that you'll really enjoy it. There's something very calming about it. I don't know what it is. So anyway, I will see you all next Thursday. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will answer any questions that you have. And enjoy your week. Have a great weekend. And if you can find the time, make something pretty. I'll talk to you later. Bye, you guys.